black, charred, gray, burnt, fried. These are all words that could describe 2/3 of the Wilderness Canoe Base camp after the 2007 Ham Lake fire. Wilderness Canoe Base is a camp located in northern Minnesota. It is located on Lake Siegel, and it's on two islands, on Dominion and Fishhook. According to the camp website, it was founded by Ham Moose in 1956, who took a group of boys up there to get away from the city and to take the troubled youth and bring them to the wilderness. The camp has since then been expanded to include women and children and has been used by tens of thousands of youth since then. One of their goals is to provide life-changing wilderness experiences and offering leadership and environmental development in a diverse Christian community. It is a church-based camp. On May 6, 2007, there was a fire that devastated much of northern Minnesota and Canada. The fire was called Ham Lake Fire, and it started on May 5th. The fire spread, according to the U.S. Forest Service, 75,000 acres of land were burnt. If you think about this in terms of soccer fields, it's about 37,000 soccer fields worth of area that was burnt. According to the camp website as well, about $4 million of damage was done to the camp alone. And these, again, about 2/3 of their structures were destroyed. There was evacuation plans that were brought out right away, and there was only one death in the fire, and this was, unfortunately, the man who started it, because he was accused of burning down much of the area that he loved so much, and he just couldn't take it, so he did take his life, but that was the only life-threatening issue. According to Jedediah Sharmer, who is the lead pastor at Wilderness Canoe Base right now, he said, "He left us with a chapel for worship, a shop to rebuild out of all the tools and supplies, and a maid lodge to feed volunteers and folks that come up here to help us rebuild." So according to him, he felt that he was lucky enough to have at least 4 of the main structures left that were not burnt down to help rebuild and start on the other processes that the construction will lead to. So he felt that he was lucky that there was at least something there. There definitely is a huge need to rebuild at Wilderness Canoe Base. As you can imagine, 2/3 of the structures were burnt completely down. This includes staff cabins, camper cabins, outhouses, saunas, pretty much everything important besides the 3 that I mentioned earlier were wiped out. There is especially a need for, like I said, camper and staff cabins. Last year, there is stuff being done, and what's done so far is their trail shack has been rebuilt, the sauna has been rebuilt, 2 camper cabins have been rebuilt, and also 1 staff cabin has been rebuilt. So they have started the process, but they're nowhere near finishing it. For the upcoming summers, they plan to do more camper cabins, have a medical center, as well as more outhouses. And they also need funding to further their projects, because once the money that their insurance covered the fire runs out, they don't really have a lot of plans to figure it out. Also, Thrivent Lutheran has donated about $200,000 to the cause of rebuilding the camp, and they also are in desperate needs of volunteers to do all the construction work. And that's all according to the Wilderness Canoe Base news update on their website. I also talked to staff member Andrew Shay, and he said that there's always a need for help around the camp, especially after the fire. And he was talking about construction itself, either building the actual cabins and trail shack and stuff like that, or just simply moving materials around for the people that are helping. So they need volunteers. It's definitely a huge need out there, and it's really important. It's really important that the camp gets rebuilt, not only just because it was built and it needs to be rebuilt, but there also is huge beneficials to the kids that use the camp every summer. According to Last Child in the Woods, it's a book. Also, it's called Last Child in the Woods, Saving Our Children from Nature Disorder. It was a bestseller by Richard Lowe. It says that kids who have the opportunity to go in the wilderness and experience these kinds of camps are more independent, they have responsibility, and they exude self-confidence and work on their problem-solving techniques. Also, more advantages to kids who get to go on these kind of trips and go to these kind of camps. According to the Journal of Social Work, that wilderness provides a lot of learning, from basic needs to team building. There are a lot of reasons why they think that is because in the wilderness you have immediate feedback. The nature, if you go out there and it's raining, you have to build a fire or build up your shelter, and you can't really run away from problems. You have to face it and deal with it whoever you're with. So it does help community bonding and problem solving. Also, in the journal they said, as far as a spiritual standpoint, it's very peaceful to be in the wilderness. There's minimal distractions, there's not as much technology, and it kind of like slows you down and helps relax to meditate or think about things that you normally maybe wouldn't get the chance to. So in conclusion, the Boundary Waters has a camp called Wilderness Canoe Base. It's located in northern Minnesota, and it was devastated by a fire in 2007. There's definitely a need to rebuild, and this need is huge because of the benefits that the kids that go to the camp get when they attend the camp. So my goal is to go out and help them help others.